want you to want, what I want you. What I want you to want, what I want you.
Kicks, and joining me is Rapid.
That's right, here to make this the most professional, high production value broadcast that we can together. And of
Yep.
course, our production can only be as good as the games, and of course those have been very good. So
They have.
good to be back again, Kicks. You know, it's a little bit of a struggle for media so far. It's been an 0-3, so Red will be the victors of the series. But as always, we do get a chance to see one final last game.
And that's a clever pun, because you fully know well what players we're going to have. But just for the benefit of everyone else, let's head on over to the overlay, and let's see who we've got today in this fourth set. Okay, and there we go. So it's going to be a TVT here on this map. We're going to start with media here. It's going to be Nyoken. Now Nyoken, one of the stars of his team, I'd say the key player for their team right now, doing a lot of work, trying to work on casting and playing as well, streams a lot, doing really well on the ladder, and he's currently 2 for 1 here in the STPL, so really interested to see how he's going to do up against his opponent, who, fighting for red, did play on SK Alpha last season, and not the last from, I believe last was on Stars, if I remember correctly. But it is going to be the Korean Terran LasT fighting for red here. He is 1-0 in this round so far, and it should be an interesting game.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I think more... yeah, I always vote for Nyoken. He's been a player. He also says very nice things to me when I go on his stream. Also, he has one of the sickest emotes on Twitch.tv. So, of course, very, very popular, pretty cool guy. I think LasT also has been very impressive, not just because you can see his stats there. 1-0, so sick. But the game that I watched him play last week, I guess it was, looked super solid. So he picked a good player to emulate, and he's doing a pretty good job at it.
He is indeed. Now, of course, Red are the winners today, but this is going to be the game for Pride, and that game here is going to be on our 2-player map of the pool. It's going to be on Hitchhiker. Now, Hitchhiker, a very fun map from 2007. We've already seen one crazy TBT on here so far. Roegi versus Radley last week. We did see Nukes in that game. Lockdown as well. Oh, well, we nearly saw Nukes, but then Radley let me down. I actually apologized to me in on Discord after for not using Nukes, but he forgot. But he did lock down some wraiths, so that was certainly something. And it should be pretty cool here. 10 o'clock, 5 o'clock spawns, very small path going through the map, semi-island base as well, and a weird winding path that's blocked off by a couple of stacked temples. So without further ado, let's head into our game.
Hailing frequencies open.
And thank you, Creative, for the host. Welcome to all of his viewers. I do apologise. You've joined during the last game, but I'm just going to quickly do the micro to make the replay less laggy. But starting us off here in at the top left-hand position for red, it's going to be LasT.
And last opponent on the upper left-hand side in the, is this peach or white? It looks peach to me. In the peach is going to be Nyoken.
Yep, now Nyoken obviously a very strong player. Lots of stuff coming out from him recently. He's doing a really good job. Now, I know someone in the chat did ask you, is SK LasT a strong player? He did a very good job for SK Alpha last season. And he did join Red at the end of round 1, so it's going to be cool to see him up against Nyoken here in a TBT. As both of them very strong Terrans, especially in this matchup.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen a super good foreign TBT in a while. That's not, criticizing them. I just, haven't
They don't
seen
happen
one,
as
so.
much, so it's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, when you talk about like foreign Protoss players, a lot come to mind. Foreign Zerg players, there's lots that come to mind. But foreign Terrans, they are a dying breed, Kicks. We really have to, put up the walls. We've got to encase a foreign Terran player in amber and bury him so that in the future we can have foreign Terran Park, where we'll put them on display until one day they break out and kill everybody again.
Yeah, now with foreign Terrans, like when I first came back to casting in 2015, pretty much the scene was dominated by Eon Zerg and True Touch, and Zeke as well. I saw the kind of end of Zeke's era. So it was pretty much ZVZ Central every single tournament. Then we saw players like Bonneth rising up, DeWalt rising up as well, bringing back the Protoss race. Now, of course, Terran had their own stars as well. You did see Kogut, Terra, Dandy doing very well, and that did lead to some interesting finals, especially TBT finals between Shiny and Terra, and Dandy and Terra as well, but Dandy a dirty race traitor picking Protoss in TBT. But still some great games from them, and it should be very cool in this TBT here. Now, of course, LasT is a Korean player. He's not one of the top tier Koreans, but he's still a very strong opponent here for Nyoken.
Yep, absolutely. And on the build side of things, it is going to be, one racks, but what is the direction that our players go? Of course, it is right into factory. So no expansions just yet, my friend. Of course, it is a tenuous balance between the number of vultures. If all of a sudden you have one less, your opponent's vultures run up and they kill yours, and you have a really bad time. I remember seeing, I forget who he was playing against, but the Korean Terran player Light back in the old SSL Classic almost a year ago today. He was struggling. He was losing every game. He was down 0-4, and he kind of had this clairvoyant moment where he realized if he just cheesed every game, then he might start winning. So he started doing proxy 2-facts versus Terran players who were much better than him. And versus Mind, I believe it was, he proxy 2-facts this guy. Mind's out there on the map scouting with his slow vulture, and 2 vultures of lights just show up. And Mind just like, you can see him just be like, okay, come on, really? And it doesn't go very well for him after that, and Light wins the game. And I'm like, okay, well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. But regardless of all of that, this time around, it is actually going to be a little bit different with our first real deviation coming through Starport versus Machine Shop.
Yeah, now obviously we're going to see a Vulture in this as well. Now, one thing I've been following with the camera is actually a Terminator Marine that has chased a 3 health SCV the entire way over the map. And it looks like it's finally going to run out of space to run. So the future is doomed once this SCV goes down. Oh my god, he gets away again. LasT SCV control to keep this alive is really impressive. And that Vulture actually gonna get stopped on the ramp by these 3 Marines. Now, interestingly, LasT went up to 5 Marines, 6 Marines even. And that's not common in TBT. And he's going for an FD push.
Yeah. So this is going to be very strong. It always kind of baffles me, and only the true TBT gods will truly know the answer to this. But exactly what number of Marines you stops on really does define a whole lot about the way you want to play the game. Because if you do keep pumping that out and do want to go for something that's, you know, not totally all in, but just super aggressive, then having a bunch of Marines, even though they do die to vultures pretty quickly, definitely does help your aggression when it comes to just busting through.
Yeah, it's also going to really help him. He's kind of blind countered a starport here. Now, we do have a bunker coming up by Nyoken. It looks like it may just finish in time, but he's not going to be able to repair it very quickly. Now, how long can he keep this alive? The tank pulling back onto the ramp. Great control so far by Nyoken to take as many of these units down as possible. But it's going to be tank versus tank. Could be a shot in it. There we go. Nyoken with great control.
Dude, Nyoken's tank is so sick right now. What?
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's got to pull SCVs to repair it, and he does. They're gas SCVs, so might want to put those back. But Nyoken, MVP tank, 3 kills. He needs to keep it safe. He's got to repair that. So this is his national treasure right now. So important he uses gas SCVs, holding their nuclear waste to keep this thing alive.
Yeah, and not only that, but the Marine as well, a national hero, getting in that bunker after getting 3 kills himself. And that is a really, really great hold. Now, the trouble is, LasT stopped building Marines a while ago, and we have a starport building a Wraith. Now, there's no cloak just yet. The fact he pulled his gas SCVs is going to delay that for a while. And unfortunately, Nyoken hasn't realized he's not building his command center anymore. He's building the gas instead.
Ooh, might wanna... Yeah, there it is. The SCV goes mines gas and then completes the command center.
He's pulled SCVs over to the minerals as well. I think he went a little bit on autopilot there, thinking it was finishing. But good usage by LasT units to at least just kill that. And it's actually, even though LasT threw away a lot of units there, he's got his expansion up quicker. He's got his second refinery up as well. And he does have an advantage. He's on 2 factories against just the one, and he does have his own starport.
Yeah, I mean, Nyoken, let's not get it twisted, he's in a great spot. Sometimes the price of sick micro is that you kind of you flub up some other stuff. So the base will be coming up a little bit behind schedule, but the bigger thing is just push out onto the map. Unless there is one of these mines that has been laid that just explorates everything, Nyoken's got a bunch of stuff that LasT does not.
Yeah, and here we go. We've got a double tank drop going to those minerals at the natural. Now, interestingly, he's dropped the tanks. He's going to go back and get more units. Now, there is a mine that spotted this, so great usage of those mines. Going to give LasT a little bit of an indication what's going on. We actually have a Wraith on Wraith battle, and it looks like LasT is going to come out ahead of this. And this does mean he can actually just kill those tanks for free now. It's going to take a long time, but he will be able to take those down.
The excellent usage of this dropship, putting these tanks in a position where, I mean, once they are able to move eventually, will be just ridiculous to try to stop. So also the 3rd base coming up now for Nyoken. I mean, he is just firing on all cylinders.
Oh wow, we actually have an empty dropship going into the main to maybe... Yeah, he's pulling LasT's attention away, but LasT has a barracks there. It's going to see the tanks moving in. And this, oh, it looks like we're going to have LasT moving his units to respond. He's going to siege up in his own mineral line, but his second gas is under siege.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that low ground siege tank that's behind the command center is in range. Probably, I guess not. But yeah, no second gas is a big deal. And he actually even brought over Marines to deal with the Wraiths so they can't just kill off the siege tanks slowly. And he has another Wraith of his own. So yeah, this is actually really, really sick. And I think he's going to be able to maintain this position.
Oh, he's sieging up though. It's a little bit out of position. Does need to push a little bit further forward, of course. Very hard in TVT to kind of figure out exactly how far away your siege tanks are. But we do get 1 tank firing against 2. That's not a move you want to make. But does get a good couple of hits down.
Frax is going to go down. He's going to have to build another one before he builds any additional, factories or anything like that. Bunker now in production here, just a hard cap this point, and this is such a sick spot for Nyoken to be in. He killed off the gas, so he's going to have higher production. He's also got a 3rd base that's completed here, and he can really tax LasT's Micro, by continuing to force him to siege and unsiege these tanks, leapfrogging them
but
forward.
Nyoken's on siege. This could be last moment to move in. It looks like he's not going to take it though. Oh, and here we go. This is the moment he needs to target that bunker. Oh, okay, it doesn't really matter now. The tanks moved, but still great usage of the units by both players. But Nyoken in such a good position.
Oh no, he's pulling some SCVs forward to tank shots, but I actually think this bunker is going to go down, and indeed it just barely will. Actually, Nyoken pulls his Wraith forward, kills off LasT Wraith, and that means that he has high ground vision secured.
He does, and this is still an engagement that's going on, but we have Nyoken building a third command center back here. Wraiths from both players have gone down. The bunker did completely evaporate, and he really does need to start using these dropships. Attacking from low ground to high ground not working out for him whatsoever, and great target firing there by LasT. Gonna take out at least one of these tanks. Oh, but he loses yet another one.
Realistically, this is just an insane spot for Nyoken to be in. Like, yeah, sure, his third base doesn't have gas, but you can spam vultures with those resources. He does need to, you know, kick in his macro a little bit. He's got some idle SCVs, and he's not producing on a couple of his command centers. But the reality of the situation is this next push should be just really difficult for LasT to deal with.
Yeah, Nyoken's splitting his attention a little bit. He sent the 2 Marines from that drop earlier into the main to attack the gas SCVs. The vultures coming in from the front as well. And this may be too little too late to hold, and yes it is! GG! LasT is taken down by Nyoken. And Nyoken does manage to bring a little bit of pride back into the media roster.
Yeah, my man! Bringing it back in the end. If you had to, you know, do it, Nyoken is definitely your guy. Shame that he didn't actually play further up in the series. Could have actually made it a little bit closer, but in the end, the results still would have been the same. It's a 3-1 victory for Red. It kind of feels weird to say that, but they did take those first 3 games. Cryok in pretty dominant fashion, and Cadenzi with a super hardcore rush, and then. Hold on, I'm trying to remember exactly what the first game was.
The first game was the PvP where the Reaver...
Oh, that was the PvP,
was the back and forth PvP,
Man, Future absolutely could have won that game if he hadn't just suicided his shuttle and Reavers to kill the Nexus. But, oh well. In the end, it is a 3-1, so congratulations to Red for taking out Media here in STPL and doing it, looking good doing it.
Yeah, they certainly did it in style, and just to recap exactly what went on this series, of course it is just the one series today, but let's bring up the results screen and let's have a look at exactly how it played out. Okay, so as we did just see, it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Red. Fisheye taking out Future, Cadenzi taking out G5, Cryok taking out Machine, and Nyoken pulling it back at the end there to give Media a point on the board. And he took out LasT there to finish off the evening on Hitchhiker. Now, of course, this isn't the end of the STPL. There are many, many games to come. And just to show you a couple of them that are coming up very soon, let's kick it on over to the other overlay. Here we go. On Friday, same time, same place, we are going to have Bull versus Naz for Group A, and we're going to have in Group B, Team 9 versus Soul Gaming. That should be a very good game as well. So lots of good games coming up. Of course, the Week 6 cast will be next week. The Week 7 games are being played on Sunday. And we're getting very close to rounding out the end of Round 2.
Yeah, we absolutely are. I don't know exactly how many games each team have played. I guess at the end of Week 2, will all teams have played the same amount of games?
Yes. At the end of Week 7, yeah. Everyone will play the same amount. There will be less games played for Group B compared to Group A, just because one of the teams dropped out after I already did the group draw, so that was a bit of a pain, but that's why there's been less, that's why there's been weeks, well, every week where we've had like one game on one day. Usually it's 2 games on each of the 3 days, but one other thing I do want to quickly show off before we finish up for today, just before you go as well. If we kick it on over to look at the table, we'll see how that's changed the standings for Round 2. And as you can see from the screen there, it puts Red up to 4-0 in their group. Now, unless Red lose a game, they are guaranteed to go out of the group first. Of course, if they do lose, White Clan could come up behind them very quickly and overtake them, but they're very, very close right now. Just one loss in it. Of course, White Clan do need to get a win as well, but Red have certainly gone through the harder teams in Group A already, and looks like DM are going to have their work cut out for them if they want to get into the playoffs this time. And Media sitting still at the middle of the table, not really moved their position too much. They probably won't be able to make it. I'd say they definitely won't be able to make it in round 1, or round 2 even. But they certainly could make it in round 3.
I hope so. I don't really have too many thoughts about that. I just like watching good Brood War. We actually saw really entertaining games tonight, so hopefully every game is as good.
Yep. Now, just to say our final words, of course, I'll let you go off to bed. Thank you once again for joining me, Rapid. Hopefully you had fun, and I know the games today were a little bit more interesting, so hopefully that was good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's always fun to cast STPL. Thanks for having me, Kix. KSL starts again tomorrow, so make sure to watch that. It's going to be pretty sick. And otherwise, I'm going to head off to bed at 5:30 a.m. and hopefully you guys can also ruin your sleep schedules by watching some KSL tomorrow.
Yep, well, I'll have to ruin my work schedule by watching KSL, but still, thank you very much for casting with me. Thank you, of course, to all the players who played, all of the people who have tuned in to watch. If you do want to support the tournament, there is a Matcherino page that does get spammed out every once in a while by Nightbot. The prize pool, the last time I checked, was at $1,100 something. That's obviously going to be given out at the end of the tournament, and it's going to be distributed among every single team, so as long as people are in at the end and they don't sort of jump off or anything before the end of round 4 in the playoffs, they won't get anything. But as long as they're in at the end, the bottom 6 teams at least will get 1% of the prize pool. So if that can go up any higher, that would be great. Of course, if you do want to hit that sub button, please feel free. I do cast 3 days a week and do some ladder streams as well. And if you hit that follow button and watch again, that's probably the best way you can possibly support the tournament as well. So the prize pool is actually at $1,122. But huge thank you to everybody who tuned in. And I will see you guys next time. Have a good evening, morning, night, and afternoon. And see you guys on Friday. Have a good day.